So at number 31, we have number 5, Long. This is because none of my named OCs are in it. There's the cockatrice, but she doesn't have a name. There's an unnamed farmer, which is why I didn't draw the top half of their face. They're not anyone in particular, and it bothers me how many more favorites it's got than the average Inktober whatever. At number 30, we have number 19, Cloud. I just think this one turned out awful. It looks bad. The only good thing I have to say about it is like the shine on Kay's hair. That's pretty much it. The buildings look awful, perspective is awful, can't hardly see the cloud itself. It's just bad. At number 29, we have number 6, Sword. Everything looks kinda gangly, I don't know if that's the right word. The background's really scribbly. It looks really flat even though you can tell there's supposed to be depth and perspective in it. The shadow that is supposed to be making up Nightshade's body, it just looks like a bunch of scribbles or like fabric. It is not the texture it should be. It's a little overly edgy with Petunia stabbing a dude through the chest. And I don't even know how clear it is as a picture. I don't know if anyone can tell that that's really happening because everything's really loose looking. I don't like this one very much. Number 28, we have number 16, Fat. I don't know, there's similar problems with the other ones, but obviously not as bad. I realized I made a weird mistake on the skull. I gave it like an ear hole, but it's like not the right shape, I don't think. I don't really like this one very much. Number 27, we got number 13, Teaming. Jasper's arm length just doesn't look quite right. Other than that, it's not too bad, but I did make everything kind of uniform darkness-wise, so it's kind of hard to tell things apart from each other because the outlines aren't that thick either. I don't really like it very much. Number 26, we have number 10, Gigantic. The background doesn't look too bad. You can kind of tell there's foresty area in the background. The path. There's the two fairies, but I think I called her Cecilia. The one on the left, her arms look kind of weird. Doesn't look quite right. Looks a little scribbly. And Heidi's proportions look a little different than what I pictured. They're not bad, they're just wrong. At number, I don't know, number whatever we are, number 24 on the Inktober list, Blind. I don't have any blind characters. I have a couple half-blind characters. One in particular is Breeze. I already made her the blind one in the Game of Life thing I did. I've been actually kind of wanting to draw this specific scene for a while, though maybe not at this angle. And the background looks bad, which is why it's so low down, because like character art-wise, this one's pretty decent. There's Click crying, holding Breeze's limp body. She's not dead, but she's pretty close. And so like where their gem things would appear, there's kind of like a lightning or whatever, because like this is the moment where they sort of have like a soul trade-off or whatever. That's where their main conflict of their part of the story comes in, is just kind of dealing with the aftermath of this. Number 26, Ship. This has got Beck and Bartholomew. I am not intending to ship them, as in, like, making them a couple. They're on a ship, and I don't know how to draw boats. They're in, like, a cabin thing. I think that's on boats. I think there was one on the boat in Phantom Hourglass. I don't know a lot about boats. I probably should have just looked it up. Can't really tell the ocean from the sky very well. Beck looks a little weird. Bartholomew looks pretty on point, I guess, for how I want to draw him. He's like a gross monster thing. I kind of tried to draw it so you can tell the door's hinges were ripped off. I think the best thing about this picture is probably the bucket. I think we're past the point where I make weird anatomy mistakes. I mean, Beck's holding her arm a little bit weird, but it looks pretty decent. Next we have number 12, Shattered. We got Poundred. I don't think I've posted a thing of him before. You can tell he like smashed up Robin, but Robin's smiling, so obviously he's not in pain. Either that or he likes the pain. He's not in pain. He's like a weird blob thing. I write him as a cyborg, but it's kind of more like the robot parts are clothes. Like not even armor, just kind of that's how he likes to style himself, is to have a robot part under his fuzzy part. I wanted to make it so like it was right during the smash, but nothing looked really right, so I had to settle for this, where you know like he just kind of smashed him. I hope to draw Poundred more often in the future, because like he is kind of in Robin's circle of friends-ish, even though Robin thinks he's kind of annoying and stupid. Robin thinks everyone's annoying and stupid, but he tries to take advantage of their stupid. On to the next one. Number 4, underwater. We got Levi holding Ginger with a whole bunch of little, those are supposed to be bite marks. I don't know if you can tell, because like that's what his mouth is shaped like, because Levi's a leech. And Ginger does not look very happy about being eaten by his brother. This one's maybe kind of dark to think about, but it doesn't look as bad as some of the other, like, dark ones. But these are some of the only underwater characters I have, because I don't know if the boat thing can tell you anything, but I don't really care that much about water and fish and stuff. The shading's a little flat looking. Probably should have made the background a little bit darker, but overall, we're getting into the ones where I don't really have a problem with the pictures themselves. They're just not as good as the later ones. Next we have number 2, Divided. Another one that just kind of looks overall light. A lot of the early ones are more light. I don't know if I had a different pen or if I just was scared to start shading or what. If you look at them like in order they were made, they slowly get darker. So we got Fall and Autumn. Fall's the one facing the camera. They're like twins, except for they're also cyborgs, so they might be two halves of the same person. These are kind of like old characters conception-wise, so I don't even fully remember what I was thinking when I came up with them, but I like their designs. I don't draw them very often, but like the whole point of this story was that like they were just gonna go on a quest to go find Autumn and go save her or something. And also they all had seasonal names and it was a joke, or not a joke, but a theme. Next, number 15, Mysterious. I just don't think this is a particularly interestingly drawn thing. You got Raggy in a disguise-ish. You can't really tell, but he's like some weird ragdoll monster thing, which is why he's wearing the disguise, because like you don't see that a lot. And then we got Hex and Astrid in normal clothes, so not their like superhero clothes, which look more like supervillain clothes, because it's all black and with zippers and spikes and stuff. But not in this picture. In this picture, they look like a couple of dweebs. Number 21, Furious got Stud and Star, and they're angry at each other. Grr. They sort of hate each other, but Star is kind of concerned for Stud's safety, and he is not concerned for his own safety, so there's that. They're both trying to find a way to bring back their other friend from the dead. Star doesn't care about that so much as Stud's starting to go into necromancy and stuff, and, you know, that's not good. They don't look quite how I wanted them to be drawn. Star's head looks a little bit thinner than I meant it to be. That's why it's put kind of lowish, but overall I do like how it turned out. Next one is number 28, Fall. We got Perry. He was thrown out of a window of what you can tell by the boarded up other windows, which is a more or less abandoned building. That's like the bad guy's lair, and he got fired because he's incompetent. The hero guys find him and he's not dead, and they realize, well, he's obviously not with the villains anymore. He didn't seem that mean. He's one of us now, and Perry's kind of spineless, so he just kind of went with it. It's like, I guess I'm a good guy now, okay. Number 18, Filthy. We got, I think I called him Taurus. In this story, I don't know if I wanted to make it their names, or if they all just do code names where they're named after the astrological zodiacs, but yeah, I think he was Taurus. Space Warrior was Scorpio, I believe. I had like a weird system with gemstones and colors, although I don't remember where I got the colors from. One color's from the color of the gemstones. Maybe I'll describe it later, but because of everyone's color schemes, and these were like based on these toys I have, the story. And so I think because some way I did it, Taurus ended up having green somewhere, and I meant this character to wear green eventually. I'm talking too much about, like, the concept of the pieces other than, like, just judging the pieces themselves. His legs look a little weird, that's why it's low. I really do like the way his face and the chains turned out, though. He looks very pitiful, and that's the intent, is that he's, like, kind of big. He's like a golem thing. They find him, they just feel really bad, so they break him free. They kind of adopt him. He's like the baby of the group, sorta, and he has abandonment issues, and it's kind of adorable and awkward at the same time. I don't know why it happened like that, but it did. Next one, number 9, I think, Screech. This is Fanny screeching. She's a ghost. She's like a poltergeist haunting whatever ghost. I won't get too much into the plot of this one. Little girl ghosts screeching, as they do. Next one, number 29, United. Get it? Cause Pivot, the Frankenstein monsters, all the pieces, they're united. I draw her on a table more than I probably should. I meant to draw another character, but I ran out of room because poor planning. So like there's just a bunch of weird empty space, which is why it's further down than it normally would be, because like proportion-wise, I think I did a pretty decent job on this one actually. Number 8, Crooked. We got, I can't remember if it was, his name is like a compound word, as with most of the Nightmare character. He's not a Nightmare Dream characters. Either Jacarias or Jacarius, because I don't know, one of the words came from Tooth Decay. He's like a candy thing. Oh well, crooked, because the stage is crooked, because there's something smashed one half of it, because he's tiny, and the stage itself seems like very small for a stage, easily smashable. It looks cute. Someone mentioned it looks like a Happy Tree Friends character. I kinda see what they mean, but it's, I don't know, I'd first compare him to like, actually he was kinda based, never mind. Next one is number 20, Deep. Get it deep, because he got stabbed pretty deep with the spear. He got so far in that it's just easier to break it in half and pull the two sides out than to pull it one way or the other, which I think that's how arrows work. So Clytus just pulled the spear out from the middle of his chest. There's like a hole there. It also like broke his chain necklace thing. There should be a little star charm, but there's not because it broke, because the spear, it broke it. The little squiggles by his head were supposed to imply that he's like getting dizzy, like he's about to faint. He's not hurt because he's like some kind of demon, whatever. He like brags about not physically having a heart, and he has weird green stuff instead of blood. He's fine. He's just kind of in shock, I guess, because he's not used to getting damaged in this way. He's just kind of scared, I guess. Though not as scared as Keith, apparently, because he's covering his eyes. I just wanted to have another character drawn in there, and Keith seemed like the most likely to have a good enough reaction to this. Psycho would be like, yeah, violence! I don't know what Round's impression of this would be. I haven't really defined him that much as a character besides, he's Keith's little brother. Yep. Lloyd's probably used to this, so like Keith would have the best reaction of the ones that I could do. I guess there's the good guys too, but I don't draw them very often, so I don't think anyone would recognize them. Then again, I have drawn some characters on here for the first time, so whatever. Next, number 30, Found. I've been drawing these weird little things for a while and nobody's asked about them. Either they don't care or they assume something will be explained. So we got a character that I thought I gave him a name at some point, but for now I'm just going to call him the Prisoner, because he got in the prison thing, but he likes it because he gets to be alone this way, I guess. And they all got sewn shut mouths because that's how their society is. It's like a weird, trippy whatever. Doors open, knows people there. Story gets weird from there. Next one, we got number 31, Mask. I only realized later that this looks kind of suggestive. It wasn't supposed to, but I'm afraid people are gonna start, like, shipping these two or something.
Sorry you had to see that.
So we got Phil, and he just, like, took down his bandana mask, whatever. He's got vampire fangs, oh no, and then we got Joe, and he's got a stake in his hand, so, like, they're vampire hunters. Was a vampire. Oh, like, that hasn't been done before. Helsing played. But the thing is, Joe doesn't know. I don't know how he would hide that for so long. Like, people would think it was weird that he always has the mask up. I don't know, this is another one where it's like, it's so old, I didn't really think it through when I first made the characters, but I like them too much now, because, like, I'm nostalgic for my own creations. Joe's proportions are a tiny bit messed up, which is why this one's further down than it would have been. Next one, we got number 27, Climb. We got Fluffins, who's supposed to be climbing up a tree, but it's at like a weird angle where you can't really tell what's up or down. But then again, everyone does live in a dream world, so, you know, that's a thing that can happen. Oh, and she's being pursued by, I don't think I ever gave him a name, but he's like the bad guy. There are nightmare characters, and they're not bad guys, but this guy is a bad guy. Because he's worse, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's that, like, the other ones are just scaring people and this one's murdering them, I don't know. We got number 23, Juicy, which is also from Nightmare Story. We got, I forget what I called the spider lady, but she does have a name. And she's, biting into Engzend, and Engzend is crying, but Engzend is always crying, so that's not much. For some reason, it's shirtless. I don't know why, because, Rappy isn't shirtless, the little mummy in the corner there, who's obviously had their blood drained. I can't remember if Rappy was supposed to be a boy or a girl. I really can't. And, like, most of my designs are kind of androgynous anyway, so it really could be either. I don't know, maybe it's both. Maybe Rappy can be a hermaphrodite, I don't know. Ingzen's supposed to be neither, but most people just interpret it as a dude, so I don't know. I really like this one. We're officially into the ones where I like these. background's pretty cool. It's a spider web, but there isn't really much to it. Next one is number 1, Swift. We got Buzz defending Gel against Tracy. First of all, everything's way too light. This is the first one, so obviously it's gonna have that problem. So Tracy's whole deal is that she has a thing against Gel, because, like, Gel is a species of some sort of monster thing in the dungeons that, like, ate her whole team. Her previous one, she's the only one left, so she's kind of got a grudge. But Gel was, like, just hatched recently in the story, so, like, she obviously didn't do that. And she seems pretty chill for whatever they are. They're like snails, but I sort of mixed a bunch of different animals together, so they're not anything in particular, but snails probably the closest thing, because they do have that shell and they're really squishy in most parts. They got like little arm blades that they can stick out. So at one point they find this genie, but it's like a broken robot genie. And so it's like, I can only grant one wish, and even at that, I might not do it quite right. Just warning you to wish small. And so Buzz decided, just for the sake of surprises, I guess, to go really big and like, I wish for something that'll make me a hero. And he got an egg, and they were wondering, like, is this a monster he gotta kill or what? And the moral of this is that he's Gel's hero, I guess. I don't know. He's kind of like her dad because of the context. So it's not good that Tracy's trying to kill her. Next one's 22, Trail. We got Reptile. I think the first picture that I uploaded DeviantArt was of Reptile, and he's not even that important of a character, which I find just kind of funny. He's pointing Strag. Used to be Stragon, because like these characters, I kind of moved them over to the Cute Little Things story, and like most of those characters have 5-letter names. I don't know why I did that, but I'm gonna keep up with it, because why not? Reptile's still gonna be Reptile, because that's too good of a pun to lose, but Stragon is now just Strag, which kind of works, because like he's all alone, he's a straggler. Before it was just a mix between star and dragon, because like he's got the 5 little points on his head. And so for this picture, it's Reptile just pointing him in the right direction, because for some reason Stragon got lost in the woods. Maybe he lost a bet or something. I want to say there's like monsters or something in the woods, but like there are no other creatures besides the Cute Little Things species. I don't know, or maybe there's a border. Maybe this is between that place and another place. This was originally gonna be like a video game-ish type thing, so like all the zones would exist are the only ones that need to, if that makes sense. I didn't have to think about the world outside there, whatever. I probably talked way longer than I probably should have for this. I like the thick outlines on them, makes them stand out and not blend into the background like on a lot of these other ones. Next one, we got Fierce, which is also from Cute Little Things. I think story 11, I numbered them because I'd stopped coming up with good names for them, so now they all just have numbers. We got Zuri, looking pretty fierce, looking pretty go 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 menacing. That's a JoJo reference, I'm sorry. It's in like a sort of silhouette, but like it's also got a shine around all the outer edges. I tried something different because it's just Zuri standing there menacingly. He was kind of a bad guy that turns a good guy, but he was never really that evil, but he's not exactly nice either. I guess he's a chaotic neutral, except he stopped being chaotic too, so I guess he's just the neutral one. He tries taking over the world, or I guess their town at some point, because the world doesn't exist, but he fails, and so he's like, well, I guess I'm not taking it over by force, and so then I have a plan where he's gonna try to win with an election to be the next leader thing, but they have sort of like a council. He needs like some friends to appoint, I guess. The council itself is kind of based on the Royal Knights from Digimon. Most of Cute Little Things is vaguely based on Digimon. Zuri's like a combination between Zurimon, obviously that's where he gets his name and color scheme, and Arcadimon, just because of the way he is, sort of. Although on top of that, well actually his color scheme is from Giratina, the Pokemon. You can kind of see with the little spine things, it's also, well, it's a similarity between Giratina and the first form of Arcadimon. There's hints of Celebi in there too, you can kind of see the antenna, because I don't think any of the other things do. I don't know why I'm talking about where the design of him came from. I guess because it's just Zuri. I'm not even critiquing anymore, I'm just talking about them. Number 7, Shy. We got Demoth hiding under a table, and May found her, and there's also Sweetie on the table. There's cute little shapes in the background. May is like, hello there, and Demoth is surprised. We got number 3, Poison, because Retuxrag is very poisonous. I don't know how clearly I drew it, but he's like touching Corin. He's some kind of octopus, I don't know what kind. So he could like poison her right there and then, but he's not. And then there's also Plucky in the background looking concerned because for a good chunk of the beginning of when they meet him in this story, he got a curse so he can't move half of his body. He's essentially paralyzed from one side. Although he doesn't have the curse on like his wings or head petals because he's like a flower thing. He could pluck those off, and then when they grow back, they're unaffected, but he can't really rip his arm off and get the same effect. And so he just kind of has to deal with being like that until they meet the genie where he wishes to move those parts and to see out of that eye again. So this is obviously before that. This is like right as Retuxrag breaks from Corin's staff because she like stole it from her dad and he imprisoned Retuxrag because he was a rampaging monster. He can kind of hear while in the staff, and then over time he got so bored that he doesn't want any chance of being in the staff again, so he's like, I'm gonna be a good boy now. Next, we have number 11, Run. For this story, the art style is kind of half the story, where Blake is sort of a normal character, quote unquote. The normal characters in this, they don't have pupils, they don't have mouths, they don't have ears, they don't have hardly any facial features. They have like these big circles for eyes, but that's about it. And they have stumpy little chibi bodies that all the limbs end in points. You can kind of see it on screen, but I'm telling you, they're all like that. Actually, originally, it was kind of similar to how I draw the one with the prisoner, where he can't even tell the characters apart, but that's kind of important for that story, and for this story it wasn't that much so to make them more distinct, they have hair and clothes now. Blake always had the glasses, which I don't know if you can even tell that that's what those lines are supposed to be. Yeah, he's being chased by some monster thing, and the monsters come in different levels, you see. So like level 0, they all look like those people, and they don't have colors either. You can see a tiny bit of shading, but he doesn't have like any chroma, which you can't really tell because nothing does in these Inktobers, because I went black and white and gray. But like they go in stages, so like stage 1 they get a color, stage 2 they're like gajinkas of something, stage 3 they start to be more shaped like that creature, stage 4 they look fundamentally different, they're bigger and differently drawn at that point, and then he's being chased by what I would call stage 5. They stop looking cute, and then stage 6 I don't even think I can draw yet. Think of the xenomorphs, that's about what stage 6 level looks like. They get exponentially worse as they go. I don't even think there would be a 7. I guess 7th would be like ascended to godhood or something, I don't know. You can tell by the walls that there's like center block and metal paneling, whatever, so he's like in some sort of official structure. So maybe it's some kind of lab and this is an escaped whoever. They used to be people. I just explained the whole background of this story instead of the actual picture, but yeah, so he's running from stage 5. It looks like how I pictured. There's not much else I can say about it. I like this one. Next one is number 17, Graceful. We got Caper Town in the middle, looking at something. She seems to be calling out to something. I didn't have anything in mind, I just started drawing. The background's a bit darker than I meant it to be, but overall, it looks so good that I don't even care. We're like in the number 2 spot at this point. And then on the left, there's Magenta, and on the right, there's Cerulean. Guess what their color schemes are? If you're like YouTube exclusive and haven't seen these characters on DeviantArt, Caperthon. Wait, you would have had to have seen Caperthon because she's in the This Messed Up Wonderful World Belongs to Me video. She's like the main one of that. She's also in a Punishment Game, except there's no colors in that one, so you can't really tell. She's got a yellow face, but she's like rainbow colors. Next one. This is number 1 place. Number 26, Squeak. We got Dude being stepped on. This is like hands down the best armored foot I've ever drawn. I don't know why I'm so proud of that in particular, but it just looks pretty good. It's an armored foot, alright. Most of these pictures are actually pictures that I've been wanting to draw for quite a while, and that finally with like the Inktober things, so they're the first things that come to mind. For example, the one with Jasper. I've been wanting to draw like the demon crawling out of the plushie's mouth for the longest time, but never really got to, and then there it is. I guess I could also say the context of this picture. There's a villain character that I was just gonna call Rustblood, but I don't know, that might be an overly edge dark name, even for this character. He was gonna have a quirk where he says words weird, but he's supposed to be a serious villain, so I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna change that. I don't think I've ever drawn him. You get a foot, that's all that I've drawn of him. I started writing something about him once, but I never submitted it to anywhere because it was terrible. Like, even younger me realized it was bad writing. But he's sort of almost kind of like a rival to Craig because, like, he's also an elementalist and he's like Rustblood because he mixed elements and you're not supposed to be doing that. So, like, this scene, he's beating up Dude because Dude's like Greg's little familiar companion, whatever you want to call it, and Rustblood's a big old jerk. That's why this picture exists the way it is. That's all I have of the Inktobers. What one was your favorite? Which one are you still confused of why it exists? Bye.